Thank you, Doctor. Started to become educated on this issue, as being a member of this committee. Otherwise, I don't know how much I would have heard about it. And it's obviously it's shocking. We've talked a little bit about kind of the back end of what happens. I'd like to. You touched on something earlier about police, local authorities, local municipalities, the Chinese government. There has to be an incredible amount of organization to pull this off. Because if my understanding is correct, and please correct me if I'm wrong, we're not talking about prisoners arrested for crimes, and then we're going to say, okay, well, we've got this population of prisoners, we're going to go and take their organs. That in and of itself is wrong and horrible. But we're actually talking about people being arrested and put into prison for the sole purpose of harvesting their organs at some point. Is that an accurate statement?
What happened was, in '84, they legalized using prisoner organs that were being executed, criminals. Okay, but most of those criminals don't have very good organs. They have a lot of illness and hepatitis and whatnot. In 1999, they started to persecute a spiritual movement called Falun Gong or Falun Dafa that began to be taught in 1992. Within 7 years, 100 million people were practicing the spiritual beliefs of being truthful, compassionate, and tolerant, and meditative Qigong-like exercises that made them healthy. Okay? So when all of a sudden more people were practicing a spiritual belief that believed in God than were members of the Communist Party, then President Jiang Zemin turned on them. And against the advice of his own government, he started an incredible persecution campaign. And they instituted what's called the 610 Office, which was created on the 10th of June. And it was an extrajudiciary organization, kind of like a Gestapo, that was tremendous amount of money was put into it, and it's nationwide. And they have instituted the most vicious persecution of any group that's really been known in history. They rounded up Dafa practitioners by hundreds of thousands, put them in labor camps. They supposedly abolished the labor camps last year, a year and a half ago, but now they're just black jails, so they still exist. So he actually gave the directive in 1999 to start organ harvesting Dafa practitioners, and we actually have that evidence recorded, okay? So they started to do this, and it snowballed, and it became a very lucrative industry. So when their Falun Dafa practitioners that are arrested are blood tested, and then again, they've actually started to go out and blood test them in their homes because they registered them all. And initially, Dafa practitioners didn't give their names because their family and their workplaces would be punished if they didn't reform and give up their beliefs. So a lot of people remained nameless, and those were the initial core that they took and experimented on. But it's been going on for a very, very long time. And so they have this living, huge, captive group of prisoners of conscience. We're not talking about people who have committed crimes. We're talking about people like you and me who decide that we want to follow a code that improves our moral character and improves our health. These are people that believe in being truthful and being compassionate and being tolerant. And they are killing these people. And they have never, ever addressed the prisoners of conscience. And Falun Dafa practitioners are far beyond the vast majority of prisoners of conscience. But this has also been done to Uyghurs, Muslims, it's been done to Tibetans, and been done to house Christians. So it's happened to all prisoners of conscience in China. But Falun Dafa practitioners are the vast majority of that body of prisoners. They're held extra-legally. They are convicted in monkey courts, and they're put away for long periods of time in jail. Wow. And tortured, and severely tortured, and then their organs extracted.
And literally targeted because they're healthy.
Because the Falun Dafa exercises, if you improve your moral character, the performance of the exercises improves your body tremendously. They don't smoke, they don't drink. Their bodies are very, very healthy. But only if you improve your moral character. You can't just do exercises without improving your moral character.
It's a shocking situation that I'm glad we're working on, and I look forward to voting on the resolution. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman.
Excuse me.